Hi everybody, it's Robert Bruce Anderson again. I'm still busy with the Starting Your Own Woodworking Business course, and we now got to the marketing options. Okay, just to give you an idea, you've tested your market, right? Let's go from the very beginning. You've done all the goodies, you've done your research, you've got to the point where you've tested or you've looked at all of these, right? So now, when you get to actually doing your marketing, you need to combine what you've tested with what you've researched, because you'd have an idea that your product fits with Etsy or your product fits with whatever it is. Okay, so let's go down here and look. First up, I need to point out something that you guys might want to know. We're going to put this so that it gets out the way. I belong to a lot of woodworking groups on Facebook, and I just love the stuff that guys are chatting about there. Okay, now the point is that there's a ton of stuff there that's really weird and obscure. I don't know what the right word is, but not mainstream, and it's still a woodworking business. In other words, what I'm trying to say here is that some of these things aren't going to work for here. So if you are just doing custom made staircases, yes, it's going to fit into local search, but you're not going to fit into Etsy and you're not going to fit into things. So what I'm interrupting here to tell you about is that find the link on the PDF and go and visit the Facebook group and join up. And on there, ask me to do a video for your specific issue. You might be disabled. You might have limited tools that you want people to know about. The unplugged version, the green, the carving, there's so many options that you've got to come there and ask me to do that. Okay, so sorry, now I wasted 2 minutes to tell you that. Let's go to the marketing options and run through them in a general thing. Right, your first thing to consider with your marketing is a home showroom. Now, obviously, this would depend on your product and the security and safety of the area you're in, and the proximity to people coming to see you. If, for example, you live on a nice country route, here in South Africa, there's a thing called, damn, it would help if I could remember what it's called, Midmar. Anyway, it's down in Natal, and there's hundreds of crafters in the area. So that kind of home showroom is perfect in a situation like that, where you just have to exist and people will stop. Literally put a sign outside, as they drive past, wooden furniture, wooden jewelry, wooden toys up ahead, and then a sign, turn in here to see it. People will stop. Now, the risk, of course, of that is they'll also stop to rob you. So it depends on, sorry, this is South African thinking. So you have to consider all of that with your home showroom. You might also just keep a showroom for when people have found you via blogging or shopping websites or local search or the craft markets, where you've said, hey guys, come, you're not sure about the grandfather clock? Well, at home, I've got 16 options that I can show you in detail. So if you're pretty certain you're going to place an order, set up a meeting with me, and then you show them the home showroom. So what I'm saying is there's quite a few ways of fiddling the home showroom, right? A real store is the same thing. I don't have to talk to you about that. It's an obvious marketing thing. There's a fair amount of stuff to do with marketing that I could mention with store retail displays and things, but most of it is fairly obvious and not needed to go through here, right? Craft markets, different kettle of fish. In the link below, I do have a link to a craft marketing course that I've got. But in a nutshell, with craft markets, and I've mentioned it in the courses and in this course too, is that if you go big and you go and you make it look unique and stunning, don't break all the stupid rules that craft marketers do, putting a table up front, creating a blockage that they can't come in, sitting in a chair behind your table, your arms folded. They're just going to come past and say, hello, how are you? Ever friendly? People are always friendly. And they're going to ask, so what are these? Oh, lovely dolls. That's nice. And off they're going to go. Whereas if you had not just 10 dolls on your table, but 200 dolls on shelves and boxes in a huge variety of sizes. And you weren't standing right in their way. You stepped out of the way and you stood over there and waited for them to have a good look. They would then have a proper look at your product. So lots of ways to market and crafts. I think what I'm really also trying to tell you here is there's certain products only work for craft marketing and others not. High-end jewelry, don't go to craft market for that. Do in-store marketing. Here we go down here, mall space. So, and incidentally, here again, what I'm talking about is the kind of thing you can go to my Facebook group and say, okay, Rob, yeah, you mentioned in the video that it's high-end jewelry. Well, I do carving. So how do I do that? And then I'd look into that for you. Now, country shows, trade shows, the big shows. That kind of crosses over to the high-end stuff because you get a lot of people there. And very often the country shows and trade shows have got display space that's, inside either a really high-quality marquee or inside a building, where people are walking on carpets and things. So it's a huge difference to, a craft market where you're under the trees in the park. So match your product with how you market and look into it. Don't just think, oh, cool, and book a trade show, and you're going to lose. In South Africa, you'd lose 20,000 Rand. So what's that, $2,800? Don't just throw money at something. Make sure it's the right thing by researching. Wholesale is pretty cool too. Depends on your product if you can mass produce it enough to allow them a product at the other end, because you're going to wholesale to stores, but you can wholesale to agents. My point below, you can wholesale to your own agents that are sort of commission only, that work on craft markets, that you've set up and you've just appointed them to that. So there are lots of ways of getting that out, your product out there. Agents also work, I haven't probably mentioned it, but the party plan system for certain products will work with agents. I've done party plan with a few things in my life. Paintings was one, worked brilliant. So it work from party plan version with agents if you did things like, things where it's got some prestige value to it. So jewelry works in party plan. Fun stuff, lingerie, but that's got nothing to do with wood. Really don't make a wooden G-string, guys. There's ways of exploring that. Okay, now mall space with furniture is fantastic, because here's my comment on this. If somebody comes to a craft market or a flea market and they spot you making pick anything, benches, coffee tables, doesn't matter, dining room sets, complete dining room sets, tables, chairs, the whole lot. On the craft markets, they think, oh, cool, cheap furniture. It's a mental thing that you cannot iron out of people. So even when they get there and they look at it and think, oh, this is beautifully made. And in the back of their heads, they're thinking, thank goodness I'm going to get it for a discount. Like who said, but it's what they believe, right? Now, on a mall space, it's the other way around. They get there and think, oh, crap, look how beautiful that stuff is. Oh, shit, I bet you it's so expensive. And then when they pitch up and they start to talk to you and find out that it's affordable, hopefully, they're going to be so happy and place an order for you. Now, so remember that mindset that people have got, and it makes a difference. Furniture tends to be more expensive, and mall space is a good one. Unfortunately, you can't really do mall space until you've got big. Okay, so, and I mean, not so much big as just having variety of stock and options. So if you're going to go to a mall space and you've got, I don't know, a child's headboard and a hanging crib for a baby and oh guys, my cat is going to lean on the wires and get himself into big trouble here. So yeah, just as I thought, everything going. Creatures, cats don't ever listen. Okay, so if you pitch up in the mall space with a hodgepodge of stuff and you kind of don't look that professional, and people are going to undermine it and you're not going to do great. But if you arrive there and you've got a huge variety of almost only a single thing, dining room tables, or just benches that are made of wood, hanging benches, swinging benches, rocking benches, benches with cushions, folding benches, and benches that, I don't know, fly into space. And every one of them have got a few versions in different colors, hand painted and solid woods. And you get what I'm saying is now you've got a store that's in the mall space. And people are going to come along and fiddle and look, and they're going to touch, and they're going to sit in your chairs, they're going to think, oh, this is great. Chances are you're going to be giving out flyers like mad. It's okay. People think, oh, I really want this. Some of them are going to keep your brochure for a year before they place an order with you. So mall space is really cool, especially if you are there regularly. I've got no idea if you can afford it, it's expensive, the last weekend of every month. So you just do the weekend, 2-3 days, set it up properly, guys. Build literally a frame if you have to. Okay, so done with mall space. On 11 minutes. Let me think. Okay, let me come back to the online side. So I'm going to finish this video and jump to the online side. Thanks. Cheers.